Hey everybody. So, Georgia Tech live show tonight. Give me a second to make sure my stream's up and running cool. Let's see. Alright, looks cool. What's up, Bubba? A long time no see. What's going on, man? We got a game on right now. Southern Cal versus LSU. LSU freaking gets the ball first and takes it down, turns it over on the goal line on downs. They're looking pretty good for a minute there. What's up, Ethan and John Birds and Nico Greek? Winning ain't free, so check even if it's only $100. That's right. I'm gonna take a look at this Southern Cal game for a little bit. They got the ball now. 2nd and 4 from their own 26. They're gonna hand it off up the middle for a nice gain. About 3rd and 2. How about the freaking game last night? We're gonna have plenty to talk about with that, and taking a look at this, LSU Southern Cal game. Because it might turn out to be pretty freaking exciting. It might turn out to be pretty sweet. I don't know. Looking good so far. 2-0, that's right. Yeah, Rec Talk is coming. He's gonna be on the way, but it's gonna be a little bit before he gets here. He went somewhere, so I think I'm gonna look. At this freaking game here. On 3rd down, USC getting tons of pressure. Quarterback gets off the shovel pass, but still a tackle behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. They're gonna have to punt. So this game's going to be pretty freaking good. What's up? What's up, Ramo? Zach Jones? Yo, yo, yo. Keydon, C-Dog, what's up? What's up, man? Oh, I just looked away. Did they go for it on 4th and 3 here? No. Okay, they punted. They punted. He's going to field it about the 15. Dodge a man. Shake another tackle. Try to get to the outside. Dodge another man. Cut back. Go backwards now. Dodge another man. Finally tripped up right around the same spot where he initially fielded it. That was a pretty wild return right there. That was a pretty crazy freaking play. How we feeling about that freaking win last night, y'all? It was a good time. We streamed the game right here on the C-Dog channel. And I had a good bunch of y'all in here, and we had a freaking great time. A little nervous. A little more nervous than I'd hoped. But, in the end, we handled business and made it happen. So, happy with that. Kind of sloppy. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about everything. It was a little bit rough, but things might be a little better than we thought or whatever, or it might not be as bad as we thought. We'll get into that. See what Rec Talk says. I know he texted me. Or he called me last night after the game and said he was pissed at halftime. But we wound up pulling away. David said, "Missed you last night. Rocking big crowd." Yeah, dude. It sure was. 40,000. I'm blown away. We have not had a freaking big crowd like that in a while. Biggest crowd since Jeff Collins' opening game, where we had 49,000 in 2019, and people just didn't want to watch that crap, and they're finally slowly starting to come back, so that's exciting. 2-0 now, and we'll see what happens next week at Syracuse, but hopefully we can keep that momentum going, and we got VMI after that, of course. PDC Tech says we're 2-0. Almost a full Collins season win total already. That's funny. That's funny. Josh Pittman, what's up? Guys are banged up from the FSU game. We'll get into all of that because it might not be that freaking bad. It might not be so bad. JD says Miami's coming for you. Well, we'll just have to see about that. Two best teams in the conference right there. We'll see about that. Florida's basically an FCS team, so I won't get so high and mighty after just one game. See if you can go 2-0 like Tech did and not lay an egg next week like you usually do. Then we'll see. Then we'll see who's coming for who. How about that? Miami versus Georgia Tech will be a great ACC showdown. I know. We'll have the advantage, too. It'll be home freaking coming for us, and it'll be a home game late in the season. That game is shaping up to be pretty good, but both of us have to freaking, like I said, I just got on to you for blowing it, but we always do the same thing, is shit to bet against crappier opponents than us and freaking blow it. So if both of us can avoid doing that, that game will be huge. Gonna hand it off up the middle here for a couple. LSU. Who y'all got in this LSU freaking game? Never seen Miami offense look that good. Cam Ward is the truth, man. Cam Ward is really good. He made it look easy. I mean, he really did. He was slinging it around, running when he needed to. I mean, he made it look easy. You know what he said too? He said Oregon and one other place in the Pac-12 were louder than the Swamp, which is pretty crazy. Really makes you think about that SEC freaking atmospheres that they tell you about. Oregon's louder, huh? Really makes you think. Jack says Georgia Tech -3 against Orange favorites. You're seeing 3. I heard 2.5. I heard 2.5. Yeah, we'll get into probably talking about the Syracuse game towards the end of the show. I'm still waiting on Rec Talk for now. Before I get too deep into talking about the game. In fact, I need to send him the link. Looks like LSU's just hammering it up the middle on them. They're content with doing that. They were slinging it around quite a bit on the opening draft. All right, I'm going to send Rec Talk this link. Third and 3 for LSU. They're almost to the 40. Line to gain is the 40. Is their own 40. Okay. It's his man on the outside. He dives forward for the first down. This is going to be a good game tonight, I think. There's been some great freaking games. There's a bunch of great games yesterday. I watched Virginia Tech versus Vanderbilt, which was, for some reason, a nail-biter. Virginia Tech, what a freaking embarrassment they are. Everybody was talking about them being, Heisman or playoff dark horse, ACC championship dark horse. You can't even get out of your first game against Vandy, dude. The laughing stock of the freaking, not even the SEC, the country. They are literally synonymous with being bad at football. You say, I mean, like, Vanderbilt, dude. Now, credit, Vanderbilt played pretty well. It looks like they might not be the bottom feeder this year that they normally are, but it's just the fact that Virginia Tech had all this hype coming into the season as this and that dark horse, and they just crapped the bed. Just crapped the bed in game 1, dude. That's brutal. Looks like they chose the wrong Tech to hype up in the offseason as this big dark freaking horse. Let's see. Syracuse at home, and the line is 2.5. Wouldn't be an upset. I mean, we're gonna talk about that. I'll say this about the Syracuse game. I'm going into that game treating them as equals, not somebody we go in there expecting to be or have to take care of business or whatever you want to say. I mean, they looked like a pretty decent team. I mean, you look around the country. I was talking about other games that were being played, and there's so many teams that struggled or outright lost to FCS and Group of 5 teams. So obviously, we want to avoid that. Looks like Rec Talk's in the building. What's up?
Hey, can I just rant for a short second here?
Go ahead. I'm gonna set up the StreamYard.
Okay, so I rarely drink coffee. I went to Starbucks and I got this, and the white women around. All of the pumpkin spices out, nothing but white women, and they took 40 minutes to order their coffees. Yep. Can I get some apricot, and I want, a side of pumpkin spice. I was like, I said, lady, I got a show to do. I got time for you to order all that.
It's all right. I filibustered a little bit.
So then, when I get up, the girls are like, I just want a black coffee, large black coffee. She's like, do you want creamer? I was like, no, I'm a straight man. Just give me one order. And here I am.
All right.
That's all we got here.
Welcome. We were talking a little bit about everything. I was talking a little bit about, obviously, in the chat they started talking about the game, but I wanted to save that for you till you got here. And then I was talking a little bit about some of the other games. Maybe we touch on that real quick, because obviously our game was played like last in the day. We played at 8, so. Did you watch? You were at the game, so did you get a chance to watch any other? I guess not.
I did not.
Okay.
I just know the final scores.
So yeah, I touched on Virginia Tech looking losing to in overtime to freaking Vandy. What a humiliating loss.
That I did see.
Did I not shout from the rooftops all offseason about how?
Yeah.
Did I not? Did I not just was totally right about that?
You were. And guess who was wrong?
Who? Lou? Oh yeah, he did have him. He did have him in the.
He had him ranked.
Yeah, he did. That's right. Man. A lot of people did. A lot of people talked about, oh, they have this and that, and just totally disrespected Georgia Tech. It just blew my mind because we were identical last year. Identical.
Except we had a harder schedule.
We both went 6-6 and won our bowl game, and even both lost to a Group of 5 team, but looked promising, and had like a second or third year coach or whatever. So it's just strange to me. It's just very strange to me why everybody latched on to Virginia Tech and just totally just ignored us. But
yeah, am I still low, by the way? Because I'm too narcissistic to not be heard. But anyways, yeah, Pete made a good point about this, where he's like, based on what? On the fact that you won 4 or 5 games toward the end of the year and you return a lot of people? Like, that's really it.
Yeah.
They return a lot of people. Virginia Tech has been garbage for as long as Miami has. The Big East, was that like the weakest conference in existence when it imploded? Like Louisville, Pitt, Virginia Tech, Miami. Now Miami looks a lot better, but I'll tell you what Virginia Tech is now. Are you ready for this? I had a buddy that was a Marine, and he said when they were in basic, they had something called the fresh air recruit. Like, what is that? And he's like, when someone farted, you'd have to go like and suck it up, and everyone got a turn to be the fresh air recruit. That's what Virginia Tech is now.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Ouch.
I don't really like them either. You know what I've realized is that I have a problem with every team we play. Like every single one of them.
Yeah.
I despise.
I just hate it because everybody, earned or not, gave them all this attention and hype, and none of it to us, even though there wasn't anything you could say about them that you couldn't say about us. That's what pissed me off. And clearly we showed them who they should have been hyping up, because it's us, and we are the dark horse. We are everything that they said Virginia Tech was going to be.
Well, a lot of it had to do with Virginia Tech's schedule. Like, oh, well, their schedule's so easy. Yeah. Well, evidently not easy enough, because they dropped their first game to the worst team in the SEC. When you give Vandy Dandy something to be proud of, you need to slap yourself and reconsider all your decisions that led you up to that, Virginia Tech.
Yeah. It's bad, dude. So Virginia Tech has some explaining to do. Maybe all these people that hype them up, you need to learn a little ball. Learn a little ball. I tried to tell you. Don't know what to say. So also, what else did we have? I just wanted to.
Who else looked bad? I mean,
there was plenty. There was plenty to look bad. Here, I'm just gonna scroll through the games here.
Yeah.
So you had Clemson, Georgia. Clemson obviously looked horrible. They look like the exact same team as last year. Great defense, but only can do so much when your offense goes 3 and out.
Can we talk about Clemson for a minute?
Go ahead.
Like, Pete has said they're never firing Dabo.
Yeah.
Incorrect. I would be so pissed as a Clemson fan, and I know he is. They played Georgia 4 years ago when Georgia started JT Daniels and won 10-6 or something, and then they boat raced them yesterday, which is a clear indication all of this Jesus this and that and name, image, and his likeness and not using the transfer portal is not working. It's not working at all. It's to their direct detriment. I think he's got 3 more seasons of not improving before Clemson's like, yeah, we're done with this. This is nonsense.
Even if he's winning 9 games?
I don't think he's going to win. No, not if he was winning 9 games. What if he goes 8-4 this year and 7-5 the next?
So Clemson is 6-4 in their last 10 regular season games.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Yep. Real quick, we got a couple super chats from Nerdstop. I appreciate it. Big time Nerdstop. He says, "Frick Ben Moore, you 2-bit goober." Yeah, Ben Moore is having to walk back a lot this morning and acting like he never said any of that them crazy things, but we all know he did.
What a pussy, dude.
We all know he did. Don't matter who defends him, dude. He started it. He started all that stuff.
He wants to fence ride. I commented before the show. I was like, are you a reporter or a trash talker? What are you? You need to choose a side for what you are. If you're a trash talker, your butthole's about to get real sore because we'll body you for the rest of the time.
Yeah. I felt confident talking trash before the game. I mean, we controlled them and handled them. Ben Moore, he's on Twitter having to take his lumps. I talked some trash. He bookmarked it in his comment and then unbookmarked it after the game. So I got on to him about that. I was like, "You are not slick. I know what you just did," and so that's very fun. Of course, he hasn't responded to any of my comments. He's soft. He's soft. He stepped into our zone, dude. He's a reporter, whatnot, that freaking stepped into the trash talking zone, and he can't hang with us. He's writing freaking checks that his team can't cash, and he doesn't know how to hang with us. So.
What was he thinking?
I mean, he clearly wasn't. And also, Nerdstop says, love the state of Atlanta, though those guys are chill.
Yeah, I went to their tailgate. They're the ones I did that one show with. They are cool.
Yeah.
Dudes.
You don't need to, I mean, yeah, we'll be chill as long as you don't come in here talking all crazy, you know? You don't need to be talking all that mess, especially not when your team can't freaking back it up. So,
yeah.
So, yeah, Ben Moore had to take his medicine and eat his crow. And that's very it was very nice to see. So
yeah, you're 0-4 against a group of 5. Yeah, but you're not one of them. But you're not one of them. That's all that matters.
So Clemson gets blown out by Georgia. Penn State, West Virginia. I didn't watch that one. It got delayed for like 2 hours because of rain. Louisville, 62-0 versus Austin Peay. So you can take from that what you will. Pittsburgh versus Kent State, 55-24. Not as interested in Pittsburgh because we don't play them.
Yeah, we don't play sorry-ass ACC schools this year.
I mostly was kind of paying attention to the teams that we play this year. And speaking of that, Miami, dude, I don't know if you caught that score.
Oh, I watched a good bit of it, like Billy Napier will be fired by the end of the year.
I mean, he's terrible. How much of it is Miami being really good versus Florida sucking?
I think it's both. Like, Florida's obviously got a ton of problems. Florida's as low right now as they've probably ever been.
Yeah.
And I know they've struggled since, like, Urban Meyer left, but there's major issues with that program. I also think Miami is taking a step up. But I'll say this. They're still going to slip up this year. I mean, Miami will lose a game they shouldn't lose.
I think you could say the same about us, to be honest.
Oh, 100%, but no one thinks that we're Miami.
That's true.
Do they? Right.
I don't know what their schedule looks like, but to me it looks like so far Miami, Georgia Tech in the best conference, and you could throw Louisville in there. It's hard to kind of take a lot from Austin Peay, but I mean, at least they didn't pull an NC State, and good Lord, did anybody see that, dude? NC State rode the struggle bus all night and almost lost to freaking Western Carolina. Are you kidding me? NC State.
McCall looked like Ray Charles.
McCall could not complete a pass to save his life, dude. He was missing, underthrowing, overthrowing, throwing it at the dirt. Wide open receivers all night. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen. He was not under pressure, and he would just throw horrible passes. What is wrong with that guy?
I don't know.
So
I was called an idiot for questioning, would that translate at NC State? And a lot of genius takes by us lately, aren't there?
I know. So I'm looking at on our schedule Miami and Louisville game as being as two that I'm definitely thinking are going to be the toughest games. And also throw Syracuse in there. I mean, they look pretty good too. They kind of had a slow start, but they wound up, pulling away from the Ohio Bobcats, and Kyle McCord wound up looking pretty good. He made some nice passes in that game, and Syracuse looks to be a competent team. And we'll get into that probably towards the end of the show, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the games that I watched. And, of course, I got the LSU and Southern Cal game on right now in the background.
Yeah, I do too.
So
también, chico. Yeah,
I'm keeping an eye on that. So, okay, we've freaking waited long enough. Let's talk about the Georgia State game. So, started out right? We started on defense just like last week, and I noticed the difference here. Now they drove all the way down instead of giving up the touchdown, also giving up the 2-point conversion like we did last week. We have a nice goal line stand, and it was sort of bend don't break situation. You know what I mean? And that was kind of the story in the first half with the defense. We gave up a little more yards than I would like, but
360.
holding them to 3 is acceptable.
Yeah.
To me.
Oh, 100%. And the thing is, like, the bend don't break didn't result in a lot of points. So yeah, they drove right down the field on the opening drive. They get inside the 5. I think they were on like the 2.
Yeah.
And we hold them there. 4 downs. They
and,
went for it.
Yeah. And hold them there doesn't do justice. The language that we're using. Okay, so you were in the box, right? So you were at the game. You were in a suite.
I was on the other end of the
field.
field.
You were on the other end of the field. So I don't know if you were properly able to freaking check out the intensity of the hits that the Jackets were delivering. It was some pretty good pops. I liked what I was seeing. And it was just something that we did not see last year on the defense. They are playing so physical. And it's wild, dude. So I was stoked on the defense in the first half. Like I said, probably gave up a little more offense gave up a little more yards than I would have liked, but at the end of the day, you only give up 3 points. And now I might be doing a little bit of this as comparing it to last week's game. So tell me this, Rec Talk. Do you think we faced a better quarterback this week or last week?
I think I said this in the video I just put out.
Oh, you did?
I said it about Clemson, though. I don't think I said it about DJU. I think both Clemson and FSU would be better off with Georgia State's quarterback.
Dude, he was good, and his receivers were not doing him any favors.
No, dropped a touchdown, dropped a ton of passes. That kid was, like, I'm pretty sure a 3-star on 247.
4-star.
4-star.
Yeah.
On 3. Like, went to Penn State, then he went to Pitt, now he's at Georgia State. Like, that guy is a legit quarter. He's huge, too. He's like 6'4", 220.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's interesting that he winds up at Georgia State because he played really good.
Beats out Gibson.
Well, I mean, doesn't surprise me that he beats out Gibson. I mean, he played really well against us, and his receivers just did not do him any favors. Yeah, he can move, throw, everything.
He probably converted 2 third downs I can think off the top of my head with his legs.
Yeah. So,
he's good.
Yeah, he would take off too and everything. So, doesn't surprise me he won the job. It does surprise me based on that one game I've seen him play that because he's been at 3 or 4 different schools before going to Georgia State. So, I wonder what happened to like why it didn't work out at the other schools because
like why couldn't he found the field at Pitt?
Yeah, based on what I seen from him there. Talk is Pitt I saw in the chat.
Tonight?
Yeah, I saw him in here a little bit earlier. If you're still in here, let me know why he didn't work out there. And real quick, I want to shout out everybody in the chat. Joe the Pilot. I did a little bit at the beginning, but we got a lot more people in here now. Jack, Andrew K, T Branch. Good to see you in here. I already said what's up to a few of you. Let's see.
By the way, Joe the Pilot, pump the brakes on Fran Brown as a great coach. He's coached 1 game as a head coach.
Yeah. Mark Cruz, Alan Rowland, Nerdstop, of course. Mindfish, good to see you in here.
That's our boy.
We were the only team to cover, ACC team to cover a spread, maybe.
That's not true. Miami was.
Oh, Miami, yeah, that's true.
They covered 10 times.
Yeah, they did. Graham, I think that might be everybody. Met Q, Card Guy. Love to see y'all in here. I appreciate it. Dog Bro, JJ. Thank you all for coming in here and saying what's up. Jesse the Artist. I think we're caught up. Mike Doug. There we go. Now we're all caught up. I'm stoked. Jesse says, "Sorry, I'm late. I was making fun of people online." Yeah, biggest.
You don't have to apologize for that. That's an acceptable excuse.
It's the biggest joy is getting to come on here after the Jackets freaking deliver us a win, and we get to come on and talk our shit. We never get to do that. I'm always having to eat crow on Sundays.
I know. It's like, look, guys, it'll get better.
Yeah.
The hilarious thing is Ben Moore picked the wrong time for that, didn't he?
Yeah, dude.
If he would have done this a year or two ago, then he'd probably have some ground to stand on. But now,
right.
You know,
well, I said it. I said it in my pregame video, and I feel like it was pretty accurate. We found our identity. The Bowling Green game was kind of a turning point last year because you know me. I talk about those first 4 games a lot. And we slung it around a lot in those games, but Haynes King starts throwing those interceptions, and we start to lean towards we kind of middle around in the middle of the season. Bowling Green game, Boston College, Miami. Those games were pretty shaky. Then towards the end, the Syracuse game, Georgia, Clemson was messy, but, those last few games of the season in North Carolina, we really found our identity, and it looks like it's carried over into this season. So, we have kind of got a real good feel of what our talent, what our roster can do, and what they're capable of, and how we're gonna play. So,
yeah.
I mean, we dominated yesterday. It was never really in doubt. It was just some things that I guess you could say. So
first half was shaky.
The first half was definitely shaky. I still felt confident at halftime we were going to win. But which kind of brings us to the offense, which was pretty, I mean, if you want to look at disappointing last night, at least in the first half, the offense was. So
yeah, and some people have brought this up, and this is usually cope. I don't think it is in this case, though. I do think we played very vanilla schematically.
Yeah.
Just because we don't want to show a lot, which is smart. If you can cover a spread with like the base of both playbooks, that's preferable. So I think that played into it, and also like, how we got mad at people saying Florida State lost instead of Georgia Tech came out and won.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to be fair on the other side of it. Like Georgia State is a good football team, in my opinion. Like, you got to give them that credit.
And did they not look like they actually came to like play and win and played harder than Florida State did?
Yeah, they did.
They looked like they cared and wanted to be there. Yeah.
They played smarter than Florida State, for sure. They have a better quarterback than Florida State, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, I give them their dues. They played hard, and, it was, I mean, they were all over us on defense for a while. I mean, that first half was not, I mean, it was pretty slow for us.
That was a grudge match for sure after getting fired.
We had so much easier of a time against Florida State running. Now, remember how I was talking about throwing it around more? We definitely did that this game. We definitely threw a lot more, it felt like.
Yeah, well, we had to.
Yeah.
We got into a spot where, like, look, they were able to do something Florida State wasn't, and that was at times take the run away from Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were able to hit our spots there. To their credit, they pursued that well. We did have some big plays in that game. But for where Georgia State is, I thought they did a really good job limiting the big plays, and
yeah,
they probably tackled at times better than we did.
Yeah, at least in the first half. We'll get to the second half because that's kind of when it got ugly for them. But and Mike Doug mentions it too, how much of that was Georgia State having film from the FSU game to prepare for us. So I definitely think I definitely think the first half, because you got to think they controlled the ball most of the time. We only had 3 full drives in the first half, scored on one of them, and then we scored again on that short drive where they had a freak fumble snap issue. So I think, I think that we kind of, we kind of had trouble first 2 drives, but, the last drive of the half, we controlled the clock. Can I mention, though, the game management, and clock management, too, was perfect.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was this week and last week.
Well, I thought that was perfect. Now, I've had a few people say this, and I do agree. Having Jamal Haynes in that game as long as he was, I don't like.
I agree. He was limping.
King.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree. So that's another thing. We had definitely had a few things against us. Obviously, you talk about the film, whatnot, that they had on us. We weren't quite sure what they were going to do, so we had to adjust on the fly, stuff like that. Also, it seemed like a lot of the penalties went our way.
Went against us.
That's what I meant. So they went
Georgia State.
Were thrown on us, which was,
It was what it was. For people that don't know, if you're going to do trash talking online, one of the unwritten rules is bitching about refereeing.
Yeah.
It's just not a good avenue to go down.
Yeah.
Like I said in my video, the only thing I really had a major issue with was the no call targeting on King.
Yeah.
After you get a Mickey Mouse, in my opinion, roughing the passer for them. That was the only thing I thought. I mean, that's just a fact. That was missed.
What was the one? Avery Boyd had he pancaked a guy and got blocked and got something on him. I thought that was ridiculous too. Avery Boyd literally pancaked a guy, and they called it holding or something.
We should at Ben Moore and be like, how most referees protect the quarterbacks because generally they're kind of soft. Turns out they did that for Georgia State's whole team.
Yeah. They
just protected your whole team tonight.
Yeah. It was annoying, and we had a couple touchdowns taken off the board. Now, to their offense's credit, they just scored again anyway. Haynes King had a nice pull, and he ran it all the way in, dude. Got brought all the way back.
That was Boyd was flagged for?
Yeah, what I just got done saying.
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad it went the way it did because you had, I think, 8 penalties or 7 penalties for 84 yards or 82 yards, something like that. And you still covered and you still overcame all that.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really matter whose fault it is, referees or whatever. The good takeaway is that didn't screw you up 100% as a team or offensively.
Yeah.
We also had a pick taken back on an illegal substitution, which admittedly, I don't even know what qualifies you for illegal substitution.
I think he was just not off the field in time.
Why is that not too many men on the field?
I don't know.
Because sometimes they call that. I don't know what the difference is.
So, yeah, a little bit annoying with the penalties. That was not fun to see.
That was the other thing. Defensively, at times, I don't know if you noticed this. I did at the game. We had trouble getting set in time.
Oh, really?
We were still trying to communicate with each other on defense. We still weren't set ready for the snap at times, and that resulted in some big plays for them.
Now, I didn't pick up on that, but I was mentioning this in the live stream, and Chris S. just reminded me. The D-line was scary at times. Now, I don't know if he meant good or bad, but for me, the pass rush fell off. I was not happy with the D-line. Did we get any sacks? I don't know.
We had 0.
Zero sacks. 0. They looked like the D-line from last year.
I disagree.
They looked like that they were getting stood up, and I mean, at least towards the end of the game, they were getting stood up and getting no pressure. At times, he had a lot of time. So I wasn't stoked with that. But you disagree?
I disagree. I asked this last night on a members-only stream, and in the video today. How many times did the quarterback hold the ball for more than 2.5 seconds and throw it and throw?
It seemed like a lot. I don't know.
I didn't feel like there were many. He did do it sometimes. The point is, again, to me, this goes back to schematically. They got the ball out quick to the perimeter when they threw. To me, that's not on the D-line. That's on pursuing with linebackers and beating perimeter blocks with your DBs.
Yeah, there was a lot of plays to the outside that they were getting. That it seemed like most of their offense was that.
Yeah, and we had 8 tackles for loss, which surprised me when I look back at the stats after the game.
Yeah,
They had
so
5.
yeah, so there was that. I will say, I mean, I don't know if we can agree on this. I would say for D-line, as far as that goes, I would say our run defense is better than our pass rush. Would you agree with that?
In that game?
In that game, just in general?
I don't know, man. I kind of feel the opposite.
Really?
Now, I haven't watched the whole game back on TV. I felt like they gassed us way more on the ground than they did in the air. Now, they had that one broken coverage they scored through the air on. But all of those quick perimeter passes, to me, those are kind of like running plays to me.
Well, they gassed us
on the line of scrimmage.
They gassed us on the ground, but like you said, it was to the outside, which wouldn't be on the D-line. When they tried to run up the middle, I can only remember 2 or 3 like big runs they got up the middle. Most of the time, it just went for nothing to where they completely almost stopped doing it at one point and threw on every down.
Yeah, and I didn't watch. Like, I might feel different if I watched it on TV, and I would be more well informed if I had.
That's true. So you're on the box in the corner. Well, I'm curious to what you would think after that, but to me, it seemed like we defended the run better up the middle.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There was one run up the middle. It did bounce kind of more toward the tackle where, I don't know if you remember, Eford got stiff-armed, and then Lamiles Brooks came down and whiffed, and he whiffed so hard that he took Eford's legs out from under him, and that was when they almost scored going down the right side of the field.
I don't remember that. Not off the top of my head.
It was in the first half. I think that might have been – it was in the first quarter.
Really?
It was one of the first drives, I think, yeah.
Oh.
And you got to be better there. I mean, you got to make those tackles. I think my biggest thing with the defense, if I'm going to be disappointed in something, is probably I felt like we tackled sloppy a lot.
Yeah, definitely not as dominating as a performance as last week, but like I said, I still can't be mad at 3 points in the first half, and then what did they get? A touchdown, and oh my God, USC just returned it 60 yards. Whoa.
Damn.
It's tied up 7-7 right now, but that was a nice freaking return.
After all the crap that the SEC has talked, they better not let USC with the worst defense. There's probably only Colorado's worse on defense.
Yeah.
They better not.
This game's turned out to be good.
Now, Mike Doug asked, I would be interested in what you think. I'll tell you what I think.
Right.
Like, will Tech be ranked this week? Now, it would be nice to be ranked, and then we could talk about that. Personally, I could give less than a crap about being ranked right now. And I think it's to our advantage not to be ranked. I hope people keep thinking we're not that great a team and keep thinking that, we're the same team we were last year. Yeah. I think that works to our advantage.
In my opinion, I say sure, rank us, because probably we deserve it. We've earned it. And also because I don't think we're sneaking up on anybody after that week 0 game. I mean, everybody saw that. And
I disagree.
And are you talking about the teams we're playing or the other fans?
I'm talking about kind of both. Like, I think Miami could go on and be undefeated when we play them.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to think much of us. I think that they would, whether we're ranked or not, would think we're going to go into Atlanta and roll over Tech.
Maybe.
Same with Notre Dame.
So I would hope, my hope would be, ranked or not, that it doesn't affect the team's performance, our team, the way we play.
Yeah, 100%.
I get that it's fun to be an underdog and everything and come out and nobody expects us, but we got to learn how to freaking be the overdog too. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just always be the underdog. If we want to At some point, we got to transition upwards if we want to get to where we're going. So I would hope that being ranked doesn't affect the team one way or another, you know. But
Yeah, this might be an awful reference given to what the movie's about, the movie Glory with Matthew Broderick about 52nd Massachusetts and the Civil War. But they're like training, and the colonel grew up with one of the enlisted guys, and the guy who's training him is like, "You grew up with the boy?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Let him grow up a little more." Tech needs to grow up a little more.
Yeah.
We grew up with Tech. And I think you're right. That's a great point. You need to learn how to not, like, when you're favored, like against Syracuse, grow up a little more, go up there and beat Syracuse.
Now, I am encouraged by this game because it didn't look like, last year when we come out flat after a big win. So I was happy about that. I mean, we still played hard. We played physical and tough and executed and everything. Well, maybe not executed as well as we should, but I really did think that, considering that in the past we were 0-4 to Group of 5 teams before this game, that
forget about covering in the past.
Yeah,
we couldn't win this game.
Yeah,
you cover a point against Georgia, or point spread against Georgia State. I mean, you can't be disappointed with that. You just can't.
And according to Ben Moore and the other freaking Georgia State guys, this is the most talented Georgia State roster ever, so not mad at all covering against them. And man, we really, we haven't talked about really the second half offense, but we really poured it on. Oh, hell, huge freaking completion to Southern Cal. They returned it to the dang 40 and then threw it all the way to the 10.
Let's see. You must be a little bit ahead of me.
Look at that thing right there, dude. Whoa, all the way to the 5.
By the way, that's just a fly, like a 9 route up the that side of the field where they're in cover 2, and he just split the corner in safety. That was just a perfect throw.
Beautiful throw.
Actually, that might have been a slot fade. Yeah, like slot fade on that same cover.
Miller Moss has looked good so far, man. He looked good in the bowl game, and they had a chance to score here, but he throws in the dirt as soon as I'm freaking praising him. But
didn't some people have Georgia State as a dark horse playoff team? Maybe idiot Ben Moore, but no one with more than 3 active brain cells were saying that.
Yeah. So, and maybe we can gush a little bit now about the offense because, dude.
Yeah.
My favorite play was probably that wide open busted coverage, Malik Rutherford.
Well, that shows you how sold out they were on stopping the run for Georgia Tech. Like, they were not respecting our pass game at all. And, that was a big play. And there was even some intermediate throws I remember King throwing for good yardage. And I thought what really showed, there was like one little hitch or screen we threw to the perimeter to Malik Rutherford, and it looked like a Ferrari accelerating. Like, he just took off.
Yeah.
I almost scored on it. Like, this is the thing I do think people still sleep on Tech about. The speed that we have on offense, especially at wide receiver.
How about that reverse, too? Eric Singleton. And he's got the 2 big bodies leading him, and he's following them. Remember that one for the touchdown?
I was screaming in the box. I'm like, I was like that. I said, that's 10-2 speed right there.
Yes.
I just kept yelling it. 10-2 speed, baby.
Yeah.
That's 10-2 speed. He's got blockers.
That was awesome. It was great. So I freaking had a good time in the second half. First half I was sweating a little bit, but I felt confident. We did get the ball back after half, which never happens. It's happened twice in a row now, and what do you know? It worked out great both times. It's almost like it's a really, really good thing to do, and you want to do it every time. But
well, speaking of things that don't happen often, we answered this on the member stream. When was the last time Georgia Tech went 2-0 to start a season?
2016.
Yep, it
so,
was 2016.
It's been
nearly
a long time. Haven't won our opener since 2020, and haven't gone 2-0 since 2016.
And who do we win that last opener against?
You already know. Well, we discussed that at
Sorry-ass
length.
Florida State.
Yeah, we discussed.
Sorry-ass Florida State.
Yeah, we did. So, good times so far this season. I mean,
It's so hilarious. They want to keep crying. Like, they literally think that they were Clemson for the past decade. Like, it's the most bizarre thing.
Yeah,
ever.
they've had one good year, and all of a
They've
sudden
had
they're too good for. Oh, in the last decade, yeah, 2014 too. But that's like pushing it when you're talking about the last decade. But
did you see that short I put out? Give money, please. Money, please. I mean, that's how they act.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. It's pretty ridiculous. They, I mean, they have 1-2 good years the last decade. Think that they're too good for the conference all of a sudden. They honestly really piss me off.
The heck with them, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers and Wright. In 2016 we won our first 3 games, and then we lost the next 3.
Okay. That's funny.
That's how that went.
Mm-hmm. So, talked about that. We talked about. Oh, here's a Rec Talk special. So we mentioned this last night. Of course, we talked about how Christian Valou got the start over Gibson. Well, we did see a Gibson appearance for one play in this game, in some unfortunate circumstances for their starting quarterback. He takes a freaking nut shot, and has to come out for a play, and then we get to see Gibson. So
tough for that kid. Whenever
poor
you get
kid.
Slapped, I mean, it ain't good.
It was on a handoff too. He had nothing to do with the play. He just handed off. Romello Height comes around and accidentally knees him in the balls. His momentum carries.
It's because his play fake was so good. Romello legitimately thought he had the ball.
Yeah.
And what is the most surefire way to get a guy down? Knee him in his balls, man. Like, there's no defense for that. That's the second thing Miyagi said after no defense for the crane kick, no defense for the ball slap.
Oh,
either.
my God. So funny, dude. So
and what did they have Gibson come in and do? Hand the ball off, I think.
He tossed it.
Booed.
He did a small toss. But, yeah, a bit of a double-edged sword with how well you sell the fake there, right? So
yeah. You need to have your, like if you're me, you got to have your 5X cup on for your elite play faking abilities. That's hilarious to me that the student section booed. And I know he played well, like, after Virginia, but I'll never forget that he ran it out of bounds against Virginia when he was down 8.
Yeah.
And then all he had to do was say, yeah, I didn't know what down it was. Just pull a Reggie ball.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that. He's like, no, I knew exactly.
It was worse. Yeah, that made it so much worse. Sometimes they need to just have the players just
learn when to lie.
Yeah. Jeez.
Lying is super effective. I don't know what he was thinking.
Jesus, man.
My 4-year-old knows that.
Uh-huh.
Did you get the cookies? No. I don't know. No. What is a cookie? I don't even know.
Anyone have info on Cooley? Key keeps saying we're great at running back, but Jamal seems hurt, and we don't know where Cooley is. That's a good question because Chad Alexander's been getting the second touches. He's got a concussion.
I think he's in concussion protocol, yeah. Oh. And concussion protocol, I think, is like 2-week minimum.
Oh, wow. So there's your answer. But
I could be wrong about that. Like, I would tell you if I was confident. That's what I think, though. I don't have, like, insider info on that.
Yeah. So Chad Alexander looked good, but he even got a little shaken up at the end there. And, yeah, I thought that – I mean, I was saying towards the end of the game, like, Jamal Haynes was having trouble with his leg, and they still were putting him in, and I wish they would have just sat him out. I mean, the game was already pretty much taken care of at that point. And the young guys were doing good.
Yeah.
Anthony Carey got some touches there at the end on the last drive.
One.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know why, like, 2 drives previous we didn't put – Pyron and Carey in for the rest of the game.
And just let them run it out. And that's what they did. They had no problem running out. I was hoping for a score on that last drive, but that's just me. I was wanting to hit 40, but it is what it is.
Speaking of, because I only ran across this, like it reminded me because it happened with number 6. So I'm on an offline dynasty, and I murked everyone with Kennesaw State as their OC, and then I guess Key completely crapped the bed and got fired. And then they hired me, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
There's a glitch in that game where you can have 2 of the same number on the same side of the ball. So I was on offense, and I had 2 number 6s on the field at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And they need to fix that.
Yeah, there's a couple glitches like that. But it was exciting getting to see him. He, had big proclamations of being a freshman All-American. I think we're a little too talented for that, but
well, if we're banged up, though, that would be the scenario where that could happen for him.
You're exactly right. And, hey, based on what I've seen, I feel pretty good about it. I mean, nobody's touching Jamal Haynes right now, though.
Dude, what about that? He had another nasty juke in this game.
He's freaking insane.
Dude, the sticks, they need to fix him in NCAA 25 as well. This juke move needs to go up 10 points.
Yeah. I mean, we're all kind of underrated in that game. Offensive line, Haynes King is too slow. And like you said with Jamal Haynes, they need to buff him. Eric Singleton's too slow. And we're so underrated on that game.
We are. Did I get to talk with Damon Stoudemire? No, I'm always like, I feel so out of place in those circumstances. Like he was in the same suite as me for a while. Like he was making rounds. But I'm like, what would I say? Like, hey, man, I don't really watch basketball, but cool to see you.
That's funny.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. So, anything else on tonight's game at all? Or last night's game, I mean?
Let me think. Go ahead and read your super chat.
Oh, thank you, Nurse. West Georgia won their first FCS game. Are they? Oh, that's right. They moved up to Division I recently, didn't they? I actually did hear about that. I think somebody mentioned it last night. We're a Wolfpack family over here. My mom, dad, and wife went there, so very stoked on that. Oh!
That was pretty good, dude.
Yeah. It's in my blood.
So I don't think I have anything else on this game. We can talk about Syracuse if you want.
Yeah, so Syracuse, like we said a little bit earlier, they look pretty good. Obviously, they have the new head coach, Fran Brown, what was he at Georgia? The wide receivers coach?
He was their janitor or something.
Janitor. So obviously a big upgrade in, job for him.
That's about like Tech hiring me in the dynasty after I was the OC at Kennesaw. And I freaking love everyone nut hugs Georgia so hard. Like, oh, Del McGee's going to be the greatest thing ever. They might threaten Atlanta, and then Fran Brown at Syracuse. It's like, well, let's see him coach more than a game, and we'll find out.
Hey, not everybody can be Buster Faulkner. Okay.
Yeah, I love how Ben Moore was trying to act like they got their guy, their first choice. Look, buddy, if Buster Faulkner wanted to go to Georgia State, he'd be at Georgia State. I mean, what in the world's wrong with you, dude?
Yeah, it's coping. They're coping,
dude. There's like like there was like epidemic of COVID. It wrecked the world for a while.
Yeah.
We have an epidemic of coping.
Listen, as far as Florida State and Georgia State go, I've been there, man. I've been 0-1. It's not a good feeling. I've been there, man. And you just gotta nut up and take it. Joel S., thank you for the 5, man. Go Jackets. Reckon Sidong. Thanks for all you guys do. What a special team we have this year. It's been a while since seeing Tech football like this. Yeah, I completely agree. We, I don't want to get myself too excited, but dude, based on what I've seen so far, we could really be special this year. I'm thinking at least I mean, now that we've proven we can handle these types of situations, is 8 wins a stretch? I don't think so.
No, I don't think it's a stretch, but like PD is asking, why do you think the Syracuse spread's only 2.5? I think it's because Syracuse is a fairly talented squad.
Yeah.
They went pretty crazy in the portal this year. I thought they looked good, especially in the passing game. And here's going to be the key to this game in Syracuse. We're very aggressive on defense. We probably blitz 50% or more of the time, and so we're going to be in man coverage a lot. And I think Syracuse's offense is tailored to exploiting that. So it's going to be interesting to see what, kind of what defensive disguises we have with Santucci this week.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all that the line's that small.
I'm not either.
I'm not surprised in the slightest. Syracuse is not bad. I'm going into this game treating them as an equal, and not as a a team where we need to look down on them or handle business or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, look, this team almost beat us last year with a coach that they fired and without a quarterback. If we think that we have like any sort of solid ground to think that we're going to go in there and just run them out of their own stadium, that's insanity.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I still think we can win. Of course we can win. But as far as going in,
no.
It would be incredibly encouraging to me. But,
Oh, now if we go in there and beat Syracuse by 2 scores, I'll feel really good. Your stream's buffering, by the way.
I know. I don't know how to fix it. What do I do? I didn't have this problem at all last night.
I think it's me, dude.
No.
I think it's me.
No. What do I do? I don't know what to do.
I don't
It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. What is receiving enough video? What do we gotta? We gotta get more active.
I think that worked, dude.
I think so. We're working really hard. We're working really hard to get this stream back up, you guys.
We were sending. Yeah, it's still doing it.
Dang. I don't know what to do.
I think we're back up. Slim says, "What's up, fellas?" Quote, "I scare yesterday, but you got through." I wouldn't call it a scare, brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. We did win. That's
more
all
like
that matters.
playing with our food too long. But
yeah, I think this is over. Like everyone's leaving, unfortunately.
damn. Oh man.
Maybe you could refresh. I don't know.
How do I don't know.